like Neville posited this theory that design heal the world, design is good. Do you think, as someone who is kind of is using design in a kind of a way that is, you know, bottom up and is kind of and is doing this sort of force, but do you believe that? Do you think that design can change the world?
No. I think it can help. I think you know you can't. Maybe you can't do anything, but you can't fix these problems with just design. Too often, I think designers are their own worst enemy because their answer to most things is more design. And that's often not what's needed, you know. So like it might be less design, or it might be something, you know, completely different. So design can definitely help these things, but you have to work with, you know, other people and other things to fix with them, you know, multiple other disciplines to, you know, fix these problems.
So Neville, what would you do if they gave you the healthcare doctor? How would you approach that?
I'd get sharpened. Well, it's all about transaction, isn't it? It's all about where the point of control is. It's fascinating with what Ben was saying. Actually, you know, it's returning the point of control to the user. You know, rather than this kind of disempowerment where it becomes just the utility. And then it's a transaction. With government, the transaction is it's information. Actually, you have a great entertainment value to what you do. You know, part of design can be entertaining. It doesn't have to be as down and depressing as I'm doing.
Well, I'll say today. I said today just before. I mean, I love the fact that the person who does gift pop is going to be responsible for kind of healthcare. I mean, there's, you know, and I think it sort of talks a little bit to kind of the subversive element that you in your kind of presentation about what, and maybe that is actually something that we can do.
Well, you know, I mean, as soon as it becomes a transaction, it becomes numeric. What we're doing is trying to trick the laws of probability to deliver huge numbers. And in doing so, you have to flip on everything else. So you go to Beijing, you're going to go to Starbucks or something, it's going to be pretty much the same experience. So then you have to get everyone into this space. And it's like a kind of entropy where complexity in laws of thermodynamics, entropy becomes simple. We reduce to simple cells, which are then held together by retweets, likes, reposts. You know, so then that becomes the glue that sticks everything. So I quite like the reversing of that as a kind of an enablement. And I like the gift box thing adds that kind of irreverence.
Well, I think, I mean,
it's definitely made for some funny conversations in the government. What were you working on before healthcare?
But I mean, I think as designers, there is a kind of a concern, a worry about what we can contribute. You know, what in the sort of democratization of kind of design and the ability, and actually democracy is a difficult word because I think we actually we spin. I don't think we're particularly democratic. But kind of like what our role is, you know, and we looked at like kind of viruses and like in the kind of the first talk and a lot of that, I think of what we can contribute as designers is to kind of introduce these kind of viruses into the system. You know, no one, I think, as kind of people need to be sort of going beyond fonts and beyond font choices and beyond kind of, you know,
Well, no, I mean, Twitter,
yeah,
which had a lot of startups have quite folksy origins, you know, kind of Ben and Jerry effect. And of course, in the end, Ben and Jerry becomes ice cream and it becomes mass and that. But Twitter was quite interesting because it started as a kind of, you know, where are you and what are you doing? And then that became very much a kind of a social way of reporting in. So revolutions were reported out as travel through that space. And Josh Brewer, who used to work at Twitter, said to me that he thought Twitter missed a trick by not selling itself to the United Nations. And when you go past that point, then you have to look at monetization. Monetization flips that again. So we keep needing to reinvent this thing. So my son, who's 16, going on 26, he has stopped using Facebook, he stopped using Twitter, he stopped using any of the public spaces now because he feels it's too much ownership of what he wants to be saying. And he's gone back underground with kind of small groups and Snapchat, and it's true. But now he'll end up sending letters written on paper.
Well, yeah, well. what I kind of brings you up also to kind of like the sort of the contradiction between surveillance, which you kind of brilliantly illustrated, I thought, in the kind of in the booth surrounded by the kind of CCTV camera, and that kind of idea of data harvesting. But then coming from a different angle, it can be used kind of positively. You know, there is this kind of and I think that's a contradiction that's felt in a wider sense where we know it, in the way that we kind of. I don't know, the kind of, we have probably not quite sure that the data is useful data, but it also is kind of used as a sort of, a weapon against us a little bit.
I mean, as I said, we passionately believe in being open, and that is partly because it's public money, but it's more than that. This group of people will be doing that even if it wasn't public money. And that's not just about putting code on GitHub and stuff, that's important too, but the performance stuff, which we didn't have time to talk about, is gov.uk/performance. We publish data from all these transactions, and that might be just how many users are on the service right now, but it also kind of, in the most detailed ones, we haven't done all of them yet, but in the most detailed ones it tells you, which pages are dropping out at, or where the which error message is getting the most, is being seen the most, and that kind of stuff. And the point of that is for the person running that service to be able to look at that and go, oh, something's wrong there, it's failing there, so we'll fix that. But, why would we just let the service manager see that? We just make that public so everyone can see that. Partly being open is the boss, Mike, has this great phrase, publish, don't send. And he would rather you publish something than you send it. You can't send an all-staff email to GDS, you're unable to do it. And his kind of way of thinking is if what you need to say is that important that you need to say it to the whole organisation, then you should do that as a blog post and publish it so everyone can see.
Do you have any tips for Sharp?
Well, I think it's also different when you're talking about data about organizations versus data about people. It's like I think that's actually one kind of breath of fresh air, like leaving the tech startup scene, is there's no pressure to own all the data anymore. Since GitHub makes money from the people that are buying things, like we don't keep any data. We can just throw it all away because it's much more clean that way. Like we don't have to try and, like Twitter needs to monetize all the data they know about all the people using their network.
So are there any tips for Sharp? I mean, because to your point, I mean, it's about process. It's a lot of what you do is what design brings to that is a sort of different way of navigating that process.
I mean, it's going to sound really simple, but it's focus on the user need, and that is such a strong idea. No one disagrees with that. Particularly if it's public sector stuff. You need to focus this on what the user is actually trying to do. No one disagrees with that. And then, okay, once we do that, then first we need to work out what the user need is, work out what we're trying to do, and then we can build the design, build the systems, fix the procurement. We can build all that stuff falls out focusing on the user need.
And no, I was going to say it's thinking about the quality of experience, isn't it? So it's not just a harvesting system. It's actually about delivering what you need as an individual human being in terms of quality. We're talking about Fab Lab, and how you can kind of return this as a kind of enablement and empowerment. So, if you combine kind of the transparency process with that empowerment, I think you have an amazing opportunity.
Well, not one of the design principles, but in the principles they've all got kind of a paragraph explaining a bit about them. One of them is that government should only do what only government can do. So, if it's bank holidays is an odd example, but is a good example. Government sets the public holidays, and they move from year to year slightly, and only the government, we own that information. We set it, so we should publish that, and we should do that. But government should only do the stuff that only it can do, because otherwise someone else can probably do it better, quicker and cheaper, and that's sort of what open APIs and stuff like that is about. Is let people do. Who knows what they'll build with. With government data, they'll probably build something amazing. So, we should let people do that.
In the right hand.
Yeah.
Or the wrong hand. Or actually, not that you were the wrong hand, but but
Gift that keeps on giving.
I love the fact we're in an industry where a man who kind of invented gift pop is now going to be responsible for how you can get healthcare. So that's it.